good evening. I'm Melisa, Idris.
And I'm Sharaad, Kuttan.
Welcome to Consider This, the show where we want you to consider and then reconsider what you know of the news of the day. Now, today on the show, we will be discussing the announcement that Dewan Rakyat will sit for only one day when it reconvenes for its third session on May 18th. The Dewan Rakyat was originally scheduled to sit for 15 days from May 18th till June 23rd. Now, according to Dewan Rakyat Secretary Ridwan Rahmat, Parliament will convene to discuss government bills and business only. There will be no oral question sessions, written questions, motions and special chambers. Now, this is an extraordinary move, but is it justified? Joining us on the line now is Professor Dr Rosmawati Mohamed, Master at Academy of Medicine of Malaysia, or better known as AMM. Good evening, Dr Rosmawati. Thank you so much for joining us today. Now, the reason given for limiting the Parliament sitting to just one day has been in the name of public health. In your opinion, does a meeting of this nature and of this size pose a public health risk?
Certainly. So regardless whether or not the MCO is lifted or relaxed, then mass gatherings such as at a parliamentary session need to be avoided to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission, as those attending might be unwittingly bringing the COVID-19 virus to the parliamentary sessions, and others might be unknowingly exposed to the virus. So seriously, we actually need to consider this risk, but if it needs to be done, precautions and planning from a public health standpoint can make a difference.
Dr. Rosmawati, we know, of course, the government is lifting, the ban on the production of rubber gloves, for instance, and many other manufacturing contexts in which hundreds of workers are now going to be engaged. If that is allowable and safety precautions can be put in place for a rubber glove manufacturing factory, surely it can also be done so for Parliament.
Yes, there are important considerations that need to be taken into consideration. So really what we actually would need to actually look at, maybe look at these considerations to reduce the risk into the three stages. So one is before the parliamentary session itself, and second is on the day of the parliamentary session, and thirdly, also after the meeting. So the first thing we need to consider before the parliamentary session is to really ask this important question, whether or not a face-to-face parliamentary session is really necessary. Could it be replaced by a video conference or even an e-parliamentary session? And secondly, if a face-to-face session is needed, could the session be scaled down in terms of the number of participants, perhaps no secretaries, no PAs or advisors, so that fewer people will be in attendance? MPs and conveners must also be advised in advance not to attend if they have any symptoms of feeling unwell. So really the other things are the preparations, ensure there's sufficient supply of hand sanitizer for all participants, have surgical masks available to offer anyone who develops respiratory symptoms during the course of the parliamentary session. And these are some of the things that need to be considered well before the session, if a face-to-face session needs to be convened.
That's very interesting, Dr. Rosmawati. I want to ask you, the British Parliament has opted for a mix of some of the strategies that you pointed out. One is that over 100 MPs are going to be streaming in through video conferencing, while 50 or so MPs are going to be in the chamber with the distance that's allowable within that space. Do you see that as a real option for this Parliament?
Well, if the consideration has already been actually taken into account that it doesn't have to be face-to-face, why not make it a lot more widespread? I mean, really minimize the people gathering at the Parliament itself. So on the day of the Parliament session, those who are present must really observe social distancing at all times. And there should be constant reminder to practice ways of greeting each other without touching, encourage regular hand washing, and really must display dispensers of hand sanitizers prominently around the venue so people will get used to this thing. laws whenever possible.
Okay, well, that's all very great practical advice. Thank you so much for sharing those with us. Dr. Rosmawati, appreciate your time tonight. Now, we're going to take a quick break, but in just a few minutes, we'll hear from Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. Stay tuned to consider this.